Welcome to the Seventh Dispensation Podcast. Today we're going to be reading from the Divine Revelation called Alpha Quam, which means the criterion. This is a divine revelation sent by God to the chosen ones and to fallen humanity. Now the chapter that we're reading from is called Freedom from a Cage of Ignorance. And then this is the last paragraph. It's the last page and the last paragraph, but then we're going to talk a little bit. All right, now it says this. Man is a personal, rational, and moral being. And we have the power to think, feel, will, and act in a moral nature. We, as human beings, must try to live our lives according to the highest moral and ethical standards. And we must refrain from saying or doing that which is harmful or mischievous. This is how we free ourselves from the cage of ignorance. Now listen, I just gave y'all the outline of how to free yourself from a cage of ignorance. Now, ignorance is to be unaware or uninformed. That's what ignorant is. Unaware or uninformed. So, what we are unaware of is the knowledge of self and the knowledge of the devil. What we are uninformed about is our true identity, our true nature, and what is in store for us as a people. So what we're going to get into, right, we're going to break this chapter down. Now, it begins with saying, man is a personal, rational, and moral being. And we have the power to think, feel, will, and act in a moral nature. Now, they gave us a false history. They stole our identity. They stole our land. They stole our natural resources. Then they re-educated us with a false education and a false identity. They didn't tell us anything about ourselves. Everything that they taught us was about them and who they were. And they tried to make it seem as if we were all one and the same. But as we lived with them, we found ourselves in a constant battle with them. They were killing us. They were assaulting us. They were discriminating against us. They never embraced us to be a part of their society, a part of their religion, a part of anything. We had to fight to be a part of it. And the only reason why we fought to be a part of it is because we did not have the proper leadership to tell us how to be independent and do for self. How to defend ourselves against the onslaught of our enemy. We didn't have the right leadership. They were making these leaders. When these leaders were coming up under the information and knowledge that they were getting from their enemies, their abusers. This is why you had the people like Martin Luther King saying, hey, we just want to be y'all friend. Let us be in your society. You know, he didn't say, well, hey, let us build our own thing. If y'all don't want us in it, cool, we gonna set up our own thing over here. See, we didn't have that type of leadership. And it's because we were being directed and taught by our abusers. So when you look at this, and they made us into themselves. This is why we are murderers of self. This is why we disrespecters of self. We are disrespecters of women. You gotta realize this, they don't have respect for women. Women were being abused and discriminated against just like black men. And I'm talking about all women, not just black women. They were discriminating against white women. You got to remember, Susan B. Anthony was a woman. And she fought for the rights for women, not for a color or a race or a nation. She said for women, because all women were being looked at as less than a human being. They did not respect the rights of women. So we grew up under their theology. And this is why men today don't respect women. We got that from them. You have to remember, in our culture, before we were kidnapped, before our ancestors were murdered, before our land was stolen, we treated our women as goddesses. We believed that we were God and our women were goddesses. We had kings and queens. We looked at our women as queens. You know what I'm saying? Princesses and stuff like that. We never were the abusers of women. We got that from them. Because they only gave women rights in 1865, 18 something, in 1800s is women got rights. So they never respected the rights of a woman, period. And we accepted their teaching and their information. And that's what messed us up. And we lost the knowledge of ourselves, and we lost our culture and how we function as the gods and goddesses of this earth. They got us believing in a spook mystery that they say in outer space somewhere that don't nobody even know where yet. Now listen, it say this, right? We as human beings. Now you gotta remember, they even said that they didn't even respect us as human beings. They said that we had no rights that they were bound to even respect. But these are people y'all wanted to love so much and unite with instead of doing for yourself. And then you confused as why y'all are low frequency people, while we at the bottom of the totem pole. Now it says this: we as human beings must try to live our lives according to the highest moral and ethical standards, and we must refrain from saying or doing that which is harmful or mischievous. See, that's a high frequency. We trying to elevate your frequency to a high frequency people, because a dense people, a materialistic people, do not know how to live by moral and ethical standards. Drug addicts do not know how to live by moral and ethical standards. Alcoholics do not know how to live by moral and ethical standards. You understand what I'm saying? So we trying to elevate your frequency. And I'm giving y'all the tools needed to elevate. And this self-elevation, this self-preservation, this is nothing where you need a false guide, or whatever they call them, therapists and them people in them rehabilitation centers, that they trying to help you. The next thing you know, they relapse. See, a person can't help you if they relapsing right with you, but a person can give you the information and you study it and then you help yourself. This is what this is called: self-empowerment. I'm giving you the tools to self-empower. Once you hear this, because you can look up and say, man is a personal, rational, and moral being. You could look up personal, you could look up rational, and you could look up moral being. And once you find out what those words mean, once you find out the description of those words and how to apply it to your life, then you move according to it. Once you get the definition, that's what definitions are for. They give you the information needed to apply it. So you need to look those words up and apply it to your life. And on that note, I leave you as I came. Peace.